This is At the Extremes.
Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. Beloved, welcome back to At the Extremes, the podcast where we discuss the extremes in our society and how we got here. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Greg.
And I'm Saj.
And today we are going to be talking about Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, Sergio, we come from to each other from the internet. How does this work? How are you working right now? Everything okay?
Oh, it's good, man. It's a little weird. We didn't have the chance to like warm up with foosball or anything like that. We were chit-chatting a little bit before we started the convo, but no, I'm excited. I think the one thing I have to be mindful of is just making sure that I actually give you a chance to speak instead of talking, because then it's going to be word salad and we're going to be jumbling all over each other in the recording.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think I'm the one who's going to have to be more willing to share the microphone. I talk too much.
Yeah, but your voice is so much better than mine. I listened to the podcast. I'm just like, oof, God, why do you sound like that?
Ooh, baby, baby, baby.
I know I got to work on my bass a little bit. Talk like this. I don't know where that accent came from. It was weird. I'm not gonna do
It was
that
an
again.
old black man from the South. Is what it was. It was like Chef from South Park, except worse.
So this is gonna sound really stupid, and so I adapt when I go into different areas and cultures, and I'll pick up the different language and slang. And my sister noted this one time and just always laughs at me, and I can't help it. I just do it all the time. And whenever I see like an older black guy and like I'm walking, I'll go by and I'll go, all right, like that.
All right now.
No, it's just to say all right.
All right.
And then just a little
head nod. A little head nod. A little all right. I see you, young man. I see you out there in the struggle, brother.
I mean, I don't do all that, but my sister just looks at me like I'm a fucking
It's like
idiot.
a fucking Key and Peele sketch, man.
So yeah.
Oh boy.
So I try to. I don't know why I do that, but I do. To affect your I'm going all right.
All right. Oh man. Well, Sergio, why don't you hit me with your silver lining for this week? I think I want to try silver lining and see how that works. Is silver lining a good one? Can we go with that? Are we willing to try that together?
Sure. I mean, it sounds fine to me.
Okay. You know what? That's what silver linings.
It's like some 90s like sound effects from like a current affair. No, one current affair. So silver lining. I think that I'm pretty excited to be on vacation starting tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be nice seeing my wife's family is going to be coming up to town, and then we're going to be flying out to Seattle and get to see my family. So it'll be really cool to see my mom and dad, my sister, uncles, aunts, grandpa. It's going to be a good time. So I'm looking forward to it, and just really trying to be as present as possible.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, Christmas is that time of year to be with the ones you love, sharing so much joy and cheer. What a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
Christmas time is here.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So how long will you be spending total on vacation this year?
So last year we left on Christmas Day at like 8:00. So we did kind of all the Christmas stuff in the morning time, and then it was rough because it's a red eye, so we didn't get into Seattle like 2:30 our time, and then it was a lot of traffic getting home. Because it's 11:00, so there's a lot of people out in the West Coast coming in, and so we didn't end up going to bed until like 3:30, our time at night, and you're only there for 4 or 5 days. So we're going to leave on Christmas Eve, and then we'll be back on the 30th. But we did, what was really nice was leaving on Christmas Day. There was nobody during security, so it was like it was the quickest I've ever gone through security in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was nice. Not really having to fight people and wait in long lines. But
are you guys not TSA pre people? Do you not do the TSA pre?
So I definitely did that, and then we went abroad during the summertime, and so we did global entry too. So,
oh hell yeah!
But we haven't got to use global entry because it's only really for the United States, right? So it doesn't really matter if you're flying into a country, but yeah. So we'll see.
Hell yeah, man! Well, that's awesome. It is a celebratory time and a time to be with family if you can be. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. How about you?
My silver lining for the week, I rediscovered a show that like instantaneously transported me back to college. So I rediscovered Workaholics on Paramount Plus, and it's not like how sometimes you'll watch a show knowing that it's bad, but like it reminds you of a time in your life. That's what Workaholics is for me. Like it's not aged super well, and just in terms of like the level of raunchy joke, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's something about it that is like I remember when I love college, getting crazy, something that song.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that when that was like a thing, and I remember like where I was in my life when that song was out, and like when this show was prevalent, and it was just a nice way to kind of transport back to a place where you didn't have the depression of the crippling debt that you were earning while you were sitting there watching TV in college instead of going into class because you were way too hungover.
Yeah, and the existential crisis of the world, you getting flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. The idea that your future means absolutely nothing, and this is all of it's for nothing.
So what's really funny is that my college shows that kind of take me back to college time. This is so fucking stupid. But we watched Grey's Anatomy and what was on Thursdays because we're all amped because I went to school in Bellingham and it was filmed in Seattle, so we're like Seattle now. So we watched that and Nip Tuck was one of them as well. We'd watch Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck, dude,
have you ever seen Nip Tuck? It's one of the fucking craziest shows I've ever seen in my life.
That was about plastic surgery, was it?
It was two plastic surgeons that lived in like Miami or whatever that were doing crazy ass surgeries and stuff like that. And they would,
wait, was this reality TV or was this like a drama?
It was a drama show, but it was just like it was so ridiculous. Like the plots were insane. And you would have, dude, just watch the first season. You'll be like, what the fuck is this shit? It's insane. And the third but last one is Sex in the City.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, Sergio.
I know, man.
Who are you watching TV with, man?
Lots of chicks.
Clearly, the first two I can understand because, like, all right, but Sex in this. I mean, I was forced to watch that shit too. Well, you said you watched it voluntarily. I was forced to watch it. And man, I don't know that I'd elected to do that. You weren't?
No, I was in the front.
Oh God! So there was nothing earned, except
a lot of great memories, and just really relating with Steve. I love Steve from Sex and the City, and Samantha.
Man. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh Jesus Christ! What? Well, this episode's taking a turn. We're gonna improv this. Yes, end it. So tell me more. And how did it make you feel?
Man, it made me feel that just some of the characters were just really hard to relate to, just because how catty. Like Carrie Bradshaw is just the absolute worst, and I was just like, I just really didn't like her.
Oh, that's great. Keep on going, Sergio. I'll just sit here and drink water while you talk about Sex in the City for 45 minutes.
We'll have another side project that just talks about my critiques of Sex in the City.
Sergio's going to start his own podcast on the network.
My feelings about Sex in the City.
A married man with with a child. His opinions. He's just sitting in a basement. I feel like in order to make that show work, you have to be wearing a particular outfit, and it can't be like something nice. It's got to be something like slackery. You've got to always have like a really like 5 o'clock shadow beard on. Maybe like a wife beater tank top. You know what I mean? Like those white ones that you see in the trailer parks. And you're just sitting there with a drink and you're hanging out watching this show. And you're just giving line by line feedback. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's a good way to go into the break. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Christmas and the holiday traditions that we appreciate, and maybe some Christmas stories from around the world. Sergio, we're back. I said we talk a little bit about our favorite traditions during this period of time. Why don't you start us off, man? Like, what are your? Oh, you know what? I just thought about this. What are your favorite childhood traditions, like, and things that remind you of the Christmas holiday season, and then also like current time, like with your child, like having a kid, like that surely has changed how you see Christmas and like how you guys celebrate Christmas as a family.
I'm so happy that you asked that question. So what we did normally as family, we would go to the Saturday family mass at 5:30
Okay.
and so we'd have whatever songs that they would sing and stuff like that. Then we'd always go over to my uncle's house and we'd have soup. It was usually split pea soup or like a minestrone soup. And then we would do little, just kind of within that, nuclear family, just open presents, and it was just usually the younger kids that got presents. And then we would go home and open presents in the morning time, and then go over to my cousin's house for like lunch and dinner and show off our new toys and just hang around.
Hell yeah, He-Man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Actually, it was one year I got like a Super Nintendo, so I was pretty stoked about that. So I brought that over, and it was so hard back in the day, like trying to set it up. Remember you had that little Nintendo that you had to screw into the back and try to get it just right.
Yeah.
And so,
yes. Oh my God. Yeah. That was the most frustrating part about setting it up was the AV, because it was the audio video coaxial cable. Yeah. What a pain in the fucking neck that was.
Or blowing into the system because it was testing it to see if it would make it work so the game wouldn't freeze.
Yep. Or having to hit like left, right, AB, select, start.
Yeah.
And was it Contra? What game was that?
I think it was Contra.
I feel like it was Contra. I feel like that's a Contra code. God damn.
Hey man, that's
a deep
muscle.
pull.
That's muscle memory right there.
That is muscle memory. That is a kid who did not want to lose, so he cheated.
Did you get the Game Genie?
Fuck no, but I had a buddy who would let me hold his every now and again. So I would always. That was like a thing back in the day too, was being like, yeah, look, let me hold that for like a couple days. Let me hold that for a couple days. I don't know, like you couldn't do that today. Kids would just take your shit now. I feel like.
And you didn't even. And the thing is too, the systems are just a lot more complicated, and people just play it I feel like all the time, and people are way more spread out.
Yeah. And like, that's like, oh my God. Like I remember, to your point, like when you got like the gaming system, and you went to your friend's house for the first time after you got the game system, and you're like showing it off, and it was like a communal thing. Like you sat in the room together and you're both sitting side by side on your knees with like your feet tucked underneath you, staring at the TV, playing this thing together right side by side, and you're strategizing while you're doing it. And now like there is none of, not, I don't want to say none of that, but there's less of that now.
Well,
And maybe like digitally you're doing it, but like you're not like having that human to human connection.
well, and I think what's really kind of interesting as well too, but how we would have adapted to it, but just like being able to have the audio and the video in the corner so you could just see your friends while you're playing like the game. But if I was a kid, I would think that would be pretty cool. Like, oh, I'm talking to my
Oh,
buddy.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like there was just so much more, like, I don't know. Maybe because I was like a team sport kid, I always wanted to be like doing the thing with the person
Yeah.
there. And I remember, you know, playing Contra with my buddies, and we were on their parents' bed because that's the only room that had a TV. And so like they would let us go back there and sit on their bed to play Contra. And like, I think one year he got a Sega Genesis. We played Sonic the Hedgehog for a while. Like, it was just like, those were like some really cool memories. And like, yeah, you'd still have that today. You know, every generation is different. And I now realize that I just sound like the old man screaming at kids to get off his yard.
Hey, your goddamn games.
Get your god. Back in my day, you used to have to fucking blow into the cartridge. Now you don't even have a cartridge. You don't even have to have a cartridge these days, you stupid dicks.
But just thinking of you saying that, I would never have any kids on my bed. I'd be like, get the fuck, stay out of my fucking room and don't ever show your face in here again.
It's a very different time, man. Yeah. It's such a different time. Oh my God. Being a kid in the late 80s, early 90s, it was a completely different period. Sergio, let's take a real quick break and we'll be right back. So Sergio, yeah, man, so you would go to Christmas Mass the night before. Was that because you guys were just too good for God? Like, what was that about?
Well, because I felt really bad for my cousins. So they would have to go to Mass on Sunday, and it wouldn't be 11 o'clock, and they couldn't open their presents before. They had to wait until after Mass was over to open their stockings and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that. Gifts are far more important than going to church. Oh man, did you guys have like a song that you guys would listen on to repeat, or like a movie you guys would watch on repeat during Christmas or Christmas Eve?
We definitely would do the old school, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from like the 60s or whatever, the claymation one, and then this Frosty the Snowman with was it Jimmy Moranti or whatever?
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Those are classics. What was the other one? Jack Frost and the
Chris
Heat Miser.
Too,
Do you remember
right?
that one? Yeah. Oh my God, there were so many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
We used to watch. I forget the full name of it, but basically it was a claymation Christmas, and so they had like singing camels. They had the California Raisins were in it,
yes,
so it was
yes.
like it was so fucking dope. And I think 2 years ago, my wife got it for me for Christmas, and it was just like, yeah, no, even if DVDs go out of style someday, like I'm going to find a way to transfer that to a USB so I can watch that forever. Cause I just loved that movie growing up as a kid. But my dad, oh my gosh, dude. So on Christmas morning, my dad would pick us up and he would carry us into the living room when we lived in the apartments where we grew up. Mm-hmm. And he would pick us up and he would make us like put our hands over our eyes, but we'd do the thing where you peek through, and we made him do that until we were I was 15 and my brother was 13. And I think at one point, so the last time we did it though, he got us to like the stairwell. He goes, "This is as far as we go." Because at that point I was probably like 3/4 of his size, and it was just not going to happen.
It throws back out.
Because my parents, we had we had the Christmas tree down in the basement, and every year, like, it's just like, Dad, you're gonna keep doing the show. So, it's like, I remember laying in bed and being like, all right, pick me up, man. He's like, you're gonna have to get up before I do that. Oh man, that was some of the sweetest memories of Christmas was things like that. Like the gifts were really cool, obviously, right? Like that was what every kid wanted, was the gift. But it's funny that was the first like memory that was generated for me about Christmas was like that very firm early memory of Dad taking us into the living room and showing us the Nintendo that he had unwrapped days ahead of time to beat every game. And yeah, that was that. So,
but I can just imagine your dad having just dark circles under his eyes and being sleep deprived because he was playing video games all night, and he wanted to make sure that he beat everything before he handed it over to you guys.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I remember, it was Super Mario, not Super Mario. It was just regular Mario Brothers, and he was like, "Hey, you should go here. Oh, you should go over there. You should go over here." It's like, all right, now I know that. Now, I mean, I didn't know for a very long time, but yeah, I get it from my old man. I'll say that. We used to, my parents would put on a Christmas Story.
Oh yeah.
That was like on all of the time because we had like, the TNT, it was on TNT all day long.
It was 24 hours, right?
Yep. It was on for the entire like day of Christmas. And, now with like streaming services, you can watch it at any time. But I mean, it's one of the things that I've carried over into our house, is just having that on from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to sleep. It's on one of the TVs in the house. It's just one of those things that one of those like Christmas traditions that just kind of stuck, Mm-hmm. It reminds you of being a kid and all.
Yeah.
I think that's like the thing about Christmas that, I think that's why so many people love Christmas is it does remind you of being a kid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny that you say that. So you asked me to a little earlier about, what I've kind of incorporated into my own nuclear family now.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been trying to, this year has been a little annoying. And I don't know if it's just because things are just a lot shittier than they used to be, but we went to this local place that sells Christmas trees. So the place had just been bought out in the last couple years with its new ownership. And the new ownership has jacked up the prices a lot. So we ended up spending, and I didn't realize, man, but Christmas trees aren't fucking cheap. It was like $119 for a tree, and so
for a tree that you can't replant.
Exactly, and yeah, and so it was kind of disastrous. So we went on. We'd gotten our COVID and flu shots the night before, and so we went on the Thursday, and it was the day where it was 40-mile-an-hour winds and super cold. And then my daughter was having a reaction to the COVID shot and had a fever and was just like, I want that one. I was like, we haven't even looked around. Are you sure? No, I want that one. And we go home, decorate it, and of course the tree is just dumping needles. Like all the needles didn't all fall off, but it just mounds are falling off anytime you bump into it. And so my wife wrote an email and was just like, dude, what? We paid all this money. And the people are like, cool, not a problem. We'll replace it for free and we'll give you a wreath. So we had to take out the old tree. Needles just get everywhere. Undress it and take the lights off. Then go and pick a new one. So then I go to get the new one, and then the new one, the woman's like, oh, we don't have any tree guys. So I had to put it on my car myself. I had to wrap it with twine. I had to carry it, and it's still like super stabbed. So, dude, I have like poke marks from the needles, and so so it was kind of it was. And then the other thing that I was really pissed about, it was that I was I just bought a bunch of lights for outdoors last year, and half the strings went out, and
Oh
so I put
yeah.
them out, but I was like, God damn it! Just like nothing
Clark
is
Griswold,
easy.
man. Isn't that like isn't that kind of like the spirit of Christmas though? Like it's not like nothing's perfect, but like we like make it into like this perfect little holiday of like just pure joy, but all it is just frustration after frustration after frustration.
Well, and guilt too for me. Like you see all the other people on the street with their lights on, and you're just dark,
Oh
and you're just
yeah.
like, man, you know, at this point, I don't give a fuck. Like I was up trying to do this, I had it all set up, and then 5 lights turned on, and I was just like, man, fuck you and your lights.
Were you looking to do like color lights or are you doing white lights?
So for the Christmas tree, I like to do white lights, and for outdoor, I like color lights. I like, and I don't know
Hell
if
yeah.
white lights are traditional or not, but I just, for some reason, I feel like the bright lights just look better outside, and you know, on a Christmas tree, just the white lights, just a little
Yeah.
bit more subtle.
Yeah, I feel like so a couple years back, I made the decision that I was going to take over exterior illumination duty. I decided that that was a thing that was going to be my job, and I was tired of looking at everyone in the neighborhood hangs white lights for the most part, and I was like, man, I am so tired of this. It's also it's time to bring it back a little bit. I feel like the color lights are a little vintage looking, you know what I mean? Especially if you get like the non-LED ones where they're like the whatever that filament is that's inside of them. And so I was like, you know what? We're getting those. Like they're still like made. They're still produced. It's not like bad, but it's definitely not, you know, energy efficient. And so I was like, I strung the house the first time. I had like just one row, and then since then it's like grown and grown and grown. So every year I try to add just a little bit more in terms of the lights. But my mom used to, she used to. The neighborhood we lived in, the townhome neighborhood that we lived in, had a Christmas decorating contest every year, and my mom, I think she won it like 4 years in a row. It was the most. She would like.
Damn.
She would go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and buy like would buy wood material, cut it into shapes and all this other stuff. So she had she had made a bunch of like peppermints on top of what like candy cane sticks, and
Whoa, that's amazing.
yeah, like it was like this really artistic thing. Like we had a pine tree next to our house. She decorated the entire thing. Like I think she even got like really high up on a ladder almost to like the roof line and was like hanging lights down vertically so that you could, so it was like just like a different pattern and all this other stuff. But I mean, I think she won it like 4 years in a row, but like I remember like that was one of my favorite things about Christmas too. Like again, you know, the more and more I think about it, like the less and less I think about like the gifts and more about like those kind of things versus like the material thing, you know?
Oh, totally. And I think one of the things that, as you know, we've all gotten older, you know, it's great to see the joy of gifts, especially for younger kids. But when we're at where we're at now, there's just nothing if you find if you know my wife finds something for me that is just like, oh, it was just out of this world, like crazy thoughtful, but there's no expectation that I want her. Life is so busy, and we have pretty much everything we could possibly want that I don't need a material possession. And you talked about it at another episode. It's just like it's more about experiences now than it is, you know, things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, I think we try to do for each other throughout the year. But like you said, like if I want something, I'll just buy it. I don't need
Yeah.
you to buy it for me. I'll just go out and buy it. If I really want it, I'll just buy it. But what I really want more is, you know, to spend, you know, a week in the North Caspian Sea, you know, hanging out on a fishing boat with my wife, you know, and having an experience, or, you know, wild pig hunting in Tanzania. I don't know.
Yeah. Or, you know, like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, or, you know,
Hell yeah.
going, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what Christmas is to me now. All right. Well, hey, let's take a real quick break, Sergio. And when we come back, I'll tell you about some interesting like Christmas myths that I just found out about this week. So we'll be right back. All right. Well, Sergio, we are back, bud. I want to tell you about a couple of crazy stories that I read about. I was looking into like early, like Christian pagan Christmas celebrations, just because, like, you know, it's where it kind of developed.
What else am I going to do on a Monday night?
Dude, I once I get into a click hole, man, like I get so invested in like the tiniest little stupid little detail, and I'm like, oh, what's that thing? Oh yeah, well, okay, let's go down that hole. Like, and I think like everybody knows about like Krampus, right? Yeah. You know, German folklore character.
Well, some people might not. We've got international listeners, and they might not know, you know, some of these stories.
Yeah, no. So I think like I don't know all. So here's the thing. I assumed that if you have a Spotify account, I assume that you have the ability to go look it up your fucking self. So go do that.
No, absolutely not. We want you to stay here.
Go ahead, Sergio. Then you tell it, Sergio. I don't know.
Basically, all these stories are super racist, and Krampus it's somebody painted in blackface that beats and whips kids and gives them coal.
Yeah, well, wasn't it really like a Minotaur character, like cloven, half like man, half
goat
or something like that? Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know. It reminds me of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is also super fucking weird. I don't know the last time I thought about Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but
Narnia.
Who wrote that? C.S. Lewis? Was that C.S. Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of different books in the series too, right? Like the Silver Chair or something else.
Yeah, like the Green Prince or something like that. Was that a book? Look that up first. Write that down. Write that down. I watched Van Wilder the other night, and I just like it's like I found that vein of like I found the college music, the college TV show, and then like I found like the ultimate college movie. I was like, all right, I'm reliving the early 2000s here, and God damn it, it's the early 2000s, not 2024. God damn it. Again, another wormhole. Yeah, so Belschnickel.
Judgment is nigh, for the Belschnickel is I.
Yes, he is finally nigh.
Black Pete, hero of the Netherlands.
Yeah.
The most racist character. The most racist fucking thing I've ever seen. It is literally a black caricature. And like the people of the Netherlands like, what do you mean this is offensive? It's the most gnarly looking fucking thing I've ever seen. God. So I discovered these two legends, like lore, that were in Iceland. I've got two, and then a bonus if you're interested. So the first one, her name is Grilla. I think that's how you pronounce it. G-R, some kind of accented Y-L-A. Grilla? Grilla? So her name.
I just think of the volcano that erupted in Iceland that had like the super long name or whatever that nobody could pronounce.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That reminds me of another video that I saw of like this Welsh town, a guy who was reading the weather. Have you seen that one as well? Yeah. Where it's like just a series of W's and J's, and you're like, what happened in Wales? Anyway, so Grilla. I think you're passing your ADHD off to me, man. I don't know what's happening here. Was I misdiagnosed?
Maybe I'm not depressed.
Maybe I'm just so distracted by everything that nothing feels satisfactory in my life. It's still depression. Anyway. It all comes back to depression.
Wah, wah.
Bum, 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 bum. Gryla, whose name translates loosely to growler, showed up on Christmas, specifically on Christmas, with a horned tail and a bag to which she would toss naughty children into, which is like fucking the scariest shit I can imagine.
Yeah.
If I lived in like 1458 and my parents are we were living in the middle of the woods and my mom and dad are like, there's a demon outside your door waiting to throw you into a bag. They literally believed that the earth was going to get rained on by hailfire like every single day. Their lives were so terrible, and their parents are telling them that they're going to get thrown into a bag on Christmas. That's the fucking saddest thing.
The one day that you can feel like you can celebrate and relax, it's like, no, now you must go to church for 22 hours.
You must go to the church. You have been very naughty. Now get in my bag. Yeah. So
Icelandic demon had a German accent.
yeah. So they were all Nordic, right? So eventually they all came out of the Vineland, right? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that. So tales of Gryla began as oral accounts, with the earliest written in the 13th century in the historic sagas and poems throughout the region. One read like this, quote, "Here comes Gryla down in the field with 15 tails on her." But another one describes her as such. Down comes Gryla from the outer fields with 40 tails, a bag on her back, a sword, knife in her hand, coming to carve out the stomachs of the children who cry for meat during Lent. The wildest fucking shit. What the fuck were they doing back then?
I mean, and that's why you don't eat meat on Fridays during Lent.
Yeah, seriously. They were craving meat, so they were chopped up to death. What a fucking terrible story.
Dude, so I saw this. So I was reading. We had an old, was it Richard Scarry book of like old Grimm's fairy tale poems, and
Oh yeah.
they're awful. They're like chopping people up and like domestic violence galore.
Oh yeah, fucking scary shit.
Crazy.
Yeah. I can't believe, like, it's just, oh man, what a fucking wild. Can you imagine being alive back then? Like, you don't have any, you have nothing. Like, you have firelight at night and that's it. Like, you get told that there's a demon outside your door. What do you do? You're staring into the middle of the night, surrounded by trees. There's nothing to confirm that there's nothing there. You're just terrified all the time. Like, no wonder Europeans went to war with each other for centuries. They were just terrified all the time
Of everything.
Yeah, I mean, that to be fair, everyone was at war with each other literally all the time, but not just the Europeans. Oh man! So other bits of folklore that describe her, she had a husband who was also a troll-like figure. He was a man-eating Yule cat, known to target anybody who didn't have on new clothing. Making a new pair of socks or long underwear an imperative for any Icelandic holiday shopper. Filling out what Gunnar calls this highly dysfunctional family are Gryla's mob of large adult sons, the 13 Yule lads. And we can talk about those guys at the end of the show, because it's the most mundane bullshit, because they try to make it like family friendly now. With these 13 large ogre kids, they try to do a festival every year. So they've tried to calm it down. So Yeah, dude. Fucking Gryla's gonna come fucking carve your stomach out if you're not careful.
Oh, dude, I definitely think I need to get some new underwear because I've like
Yeah.
the
Yule
my
Cat Man.
balls is definitely fading,
Yeah.
and the left nut's kind of popping out a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna get eaten to death and carved up, and you'll be eaten by a man-eating cat. So I don't know what a Yule Cat is, but I'm sure it's somewhere else. Someone could tell us in the show comments. I had somebody, one of our listeners, reached out to me, and they were talking to me about
exciting.
how, they were talking to me about how I disrespected Taylor Swift, and I'm here to say, Daddy doesn't care about anything. She has to stay as Taylor Swift. Happy birthday, Tay Tay. We don't want the Swifties coming after us. Look, we respect all artists. So Sergio, so we've the other one that we're going to talk about here before we get to the Yule Lads, if we want to get into that, is a woman by the name of Frau Perchta, which is the most
Frau.
Frau und Frau. This is the only. So I know a couple of words in German. Frau is one of them. So Frau Perchta is probably one of the more like terrifying Germanic legends, folklore that I read about. Legend has it that you better get your flax spun by the 12th night of Christmas, and you failed to leave out the traditional bowl of porridge for her. She would, she'd come and disembowel you and replace your guts with rocks and straw. So the Germans were really, the Germans and the Icelandic.
Very naughty.
Why are they so obsessed with like gutting people to death? I don't understand what it is about this period of time where like just ripping people's guts out was like a thing.
Oh, it's because we love the bratwurst, yeah.
Yes, Foster, we love many intestine. My God, dude. I feel like, have you ever, not, spoiler alert, Midsummer, the movie Midsummer, spoiler alert, don't fast forward if you haven't watched it. So basically the end of the movie, they start the movie in the United States. It's a bunch of college master's, doctor degree level students, and they all go to, I think it's Norway, one of those like northern European countries.
The Nordic areas.
Yeah, up there. And they end up at a cult. And at this cult, like they're taking drugs and they're like finding like this place isn't what they thought it was at first. And now like by the end of the movie, they end up killing a bear, stuffing a guy inside of it, and then lighting the building on fire with him in it as a sacrifice. And I just like, I don't know what it is about like that part of the world where they're like just disemboweling people, stuffing them into things or stuffing things into them. What is it about Northern Europeans?
It reminds me of Bobby Kennedy. That's my guy. I like the disembowel. Such a fun. That's a disemboweling.
That's disemboweling. Other legends equate Frau Perchta with the legend that the Wild Hunt, and they say that she flies through the night with an attended army of lost souls, including Perchten, which are basically like Krampus, like little minis. Like they're like the mini dachshund of the dachshund world. They're like these like little shits that just run around and do absolutely nothing but terrify you all the time. I can say that because I have a little one who does that to me every day. And Sergio, I think that's probably where we're going to leave it for this Christmas, because nothing screams Merry Christmas like ripping a kid's guts out and stuffing it with rocks and hay. But why don't you
that's how we got haggis.
Yeah. Oh, Lord Almighty. All right. Well, hey, Sergio, why don't you bring us home with your final thoughts?
Kind of final thoughts is just, I've really continued to have a lot of fun doing this in 2024, and I'm enjoying hanging out with you and your family, and it's just a great time. So I'm hoping you and your family have a great holiday season, Christmas, and you've got you guys just to get to have that quality time together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to echo that too, man. If I don't see you before the holiday, have an incredible Christmas. Enjoy time with the family, recharge, come back better than before, for yourself, for your community, do whatever you can. But yeah, I think the one thing that Christmas is about is gathering with the people that you care for. And I hope you have a great time with your loved ones going into the new year, man.
Yeah, and I guess it's going to be we'll be getting after it in for our dry January.
Oh yeah. If you want to follow our journey, Sergio, I'm volunteering you for this. Sergio will be taking a daily picture of himself in the mirror from January 1st to the end of the month, and we're going to have you rate him 1 through 10, or with emojis, whatever one you prefer. Emojis. We'll say small emoji, like the smaller the emoji, the lower the score. So you figure that out, listener.
Eggplants all the way, guys. Come on.
Oh boy, it's like a little snail in a shell.
Very small shell.
Oh boy. Well, hey, listeners, thank you for enjoying another episode of At the Extremes. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you, all of you, for spending the last 6 months with us. We hope that you and your families have a fantastic holiday season, a brilliant new year, and we'll see you in the new year. There's going to be a lot of need for a lot of community in the next 4 years, and January is right around the corner. So do us a favor, though. In the meantime, so that we can grow our community, why don't you subscribe and share? That would be really awesome. Again, if I only had one wish for Christmas, other than getting that BMX bike that my parents never got me, it would it would be that you subscribe and share the podcast. That would be really awesome. And if you'd like to hear your earworm on the show, reach out to us on Blue Sky at the Extremes Pod. Check the show notes. And until next year,
educate yourself, bro.
Presents and cards are here.